Episode 224. The season is officially over and we head into the offseason. Today, we're going to recap the series win over the Atlanta Braves. The Pirates take 2 of 3 in Atlanta. Recap some of our favorite moments from the season, give you our players of the year, and a brief preview into the 2026 offseason. You're listening to the Bucko Banter podcast, brought to you by the Just Baseball Media Network. Cue the music.
Rockin' 101, she compliment my taste. Whiskey in my lemonade, cause I like the way it tastes. Best seats at the Pirates, and they let me run the base. Yeah, my time is like my money, cause I can't afford to waste. Wifey is a lawyer, take my date to my dates. Order steak by the plate, send in case after case. Run my race at my pace, clear the grass of the snakes.
Adam, welcome back to another episode of Bucko Banter. The season's over officially. And we've got some stuff to discuss. Last game recaps of the year. And then just heading into the offseason and recapping like what went well this year, I guess.
That'll be a short segment.
Exactly. Well, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to get into the offseason and hopefully like have a lot to talk about and have some fun interviews over the next couple of months.
Already have some lined up. Before we get into all that fun stuff, we'll kind of touch on it later in the episode. The Pirates finished 71-91, so no longer the Pittsburgh 76ers. We can officially say they did not get better.
Yes.
This year, Scott. They won 71 games, barely. I'd have to go back and look at how many of those were one-run games, how many of those were quality starts by Pirates pitchers. We heard it a ton going into the last couple weeks of the season about how this young pitching staff has evolved and how dangerous they could be if this team could find a way to hit. That's pretty much the only positive going into 2026, right? If we're going to look and highlight the season and give you a rundown of what we enjoyed, it's 100% going to be centered around the pitching staff. Mainly the starting pitching, because the bullpen had its ups and downs. And I think for the most part, they finished on a strong note. Although it was extremely fluid towards the end of the year, you had a lot of moving pieces. It's these young arms in Skeens, Chandler, Ashcraft, now Barco. You have Jones coming back. Mitch Keller, we'll see what the offseason has for him. You had Oviedo come back and finish really strong. Outside of that, not much to talk about when it came to producing runs, when it came to slugging the ball, when it came to putting the ball over the fence. Just was what you expected or what you feared going into the season came true fairly quickly and was evident for the entire year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, pitching was definitely the bright spot, man. And it gives you some hope. While the season didn't go the way we wanted it to, it gives you some hope as to what they could be if they added some offense. And I don't think it's going to take a ton, right? I think it's going to take bigger signings than Tommy Pham, but I think a couple bats in this team could be interesting. We could be watching meaningful baseball into August and September next year if they add a couple bats. But yeah, man, the young arms were really exciting. And also I would guarantee you that, I mean, you listed off like 8 names, I think, of pitchers. 2 of those guys might not be here next year, or their roles might change. Right. That's another way they could add bats, is flipping one of those guys for a controllable young bat who could provide some slug in this lineup. So yeah, man, tough season, but we're gonna take away some of the positives here.
Yeah, before we get into some of the positives, just to recap a little bit further, you lost a manager.
Yes.
You had just a ton of off the field issues that really clouded the picture of the on-field product. Not that the on-field product was anything special, but there was just a lot of things that went wrong as an organization in its entirety, right? And I think going into this offseason, not only do we need to fix the issue on the field when it comes to just wins and losses, but just becoming a cleaner organization as a whole.
Yeah.
Not having these PR nightmares, not giving the national media any more excuses to look down on the Pittsburgh Pirates, because there's already a lot of reasons to do that, right? And we get a lot of it. I mean, it just piles on no matter what. And it's going to pile on just from the on-field product alone. We don't need to give people more reasons to say why we don't deserve Paul Skeens or why we don't deserve to have any good player in the city of Pittsburgh. This is a baseball town. I'll stand by that, right? Right now, it's not so evident, but when this team is winning, people show up, people care about it. And there are a lot of people out there right now that we've become very close friends with who will care about this team until the day they die, regardless of whether they're winning or not. And if they're going to do it for anybody, do it for those people that show up for 60 games a year, right? Those people that just put all of their hard-earned money, support, time into going to PNC Park, into watching late night games on the West Coast. That's who is really supporting this team, right? And I bet you there are a lot of other people out there that are that close to being on that level of fandom, but they really just can't get past all of the losing, right? They're that close. Okay. There's a lot of sickos out there, including ourselves, that subject ourselves to that on a daily basis throughout the summer. And I enjoyed my time this summer. I had a great time. We killed it, man. But in terms of just looking at the bigger picture, there's a lot more of us out there that want to see winning baseball in Pittsburgh. People that'll travel from Erie, from Ohio, from West Virginia, from middle of PA to come watch Paul Skeens pitch, right? You have that type of caliber of talent. You need to capitalize now. That being said, the season's over. We're going to head into the offseason for what, once again, is the most important offseason in recent memory. And I think the first thing we need to discuss briefly, very, very briefly, Scott, is whether or not Ben Cherington goes and what the timeline for that is, because playoff baseball starts on Tuesday. I honestly don't expect to hear anything on it for the next couple of weeks. You'd think you might hear something tomorrow if they were like, all right, we made up our decision. He's gone. This was a foregone conclusion. We were just waiting for the season to end. I don't think that's going to be the case. I would be very surprised if it was.
I don't know what would be the holdup, though, man, because I know we saw the article from MLB Trade Rumors, which I think was referencing something that was posted like a while ago about his contract going through 2027. I don't know if that necessarily answers whether he'll be back or not, but if I was a betting man, like I've said before, I think he will be back. And I don't know why you would be waiting through the playoffs to, I know you can't really make any moves here until the season's officially over, but you might as well use this time while they're not playing to, if you're going to fire him, start your search and get some guys in here and see who's going to be the next, shot caller in the Pirates front office. So I don't think he's gone, but if they do wait, I don't really understand why.
There was reference to his radio show today, which would be Sunday, September 28th, where he was very definite on his status. It seemed like we're going to go into this offseason. We're ready to make moves. Greg Brown was saying how it's going to be different. And to be fair, we heard this last year, right? we heard how many moves they were going to make, what they were going to do, how they were going to take risks, and it just did not happen. So I am more inclined to just sit back and not believe that until they give me some reason to, right? I'm just looking forward to watching some playoff baseball. Whether they start their search tomorrow or a month from now, or they just make a decision now, like if they're going to keep him come out tomorrow when this releases and say, hey, Ben Cherington's our guy, and at least I'll know going into the offseason what to expect, right? Yeah. I can set my expectations at a certain level, and maybe they can exceed that. Maybe they won't. I'd probably lean closer to the latter on that, but who knows, man? Who knows? It's just going to be a long offseason and a very important one.
Yeah, again, for the second year in a row, we're calling this the most important offseason, and it is. I mean, come on, when you have young pitching like this and there's a looming lockout, don't want to be all doom and gloom, but you got to capitalize now, like you said. And we'll see. But If they were going to go another route, I would just want them to be like, listen, tomorrow, Ben Cherington's back, or he's not coming back and we're starting our search. Might as well just get that out of the way because there's nothing to wait for. But speaking of the playoffs, Adam, this is going to be a good group of games here to start off the playoffs. And just curious, not to talk too much non-Pirates, but who's your World Series pick?
Mariners.
Okay.
I really fell in love with that group when we were out there. Just getting to meet some of the guys. Our podcast out there, the Marine Layer podcast from the Just Baseball Media Network, they're having a blast. Man, yeah. Debo came over here to watch the 9:30 Steelers game this morning, and he was just like, "Man, I'm watching all their stuff, and it's like almost upsetting how fun how much fun they're having because it's like that could be us, right?"
Not good,
but it just goes to show. Let's relate it back to the Pirates real quick before I get your pick, okay? And this is a reason I like the Mariners. This is a team that dedicated themselves to a rebuild. I think they did it the right way. They got the exact type of roster they wanted at the big league level. They really strengthened their farm system. They have an excellent pitching staff. They fired a manager and stuck with a guy moving forward. And they have a GM that cares deeply and makes moves to win right now. That's a team I would love to root for. And that clubhouse is electric. They get along well. There's a lot of great personalities. They mesh. I like them. I like the Brewers. I'd like to see a team from the Central make some noise. But at the end of the day, I know it's an AL team. I don't really care about that too much anymore. I like this Mariners team. I relate to the fans of Seattle.
Yeah, I think the Seattle team's got a lot of energy behind them too. The momentum is real right now, and you got to bet on guys that have that momentum. I really like Seattle and Milwaukee. I really do. I also like the Phillies. I feel like they're just going to push all the chips in. Like their window's closing a little bit here. And I think the Phillies are a team that's capable of going on a run here. It doesn't look like the Mets and Reds have been decided yet. That's the last spot that's up for grabs here.
Right.
But yeah, man, I really like Milwaukee and Seattle. I just like the vibes, and I think that'd be a fun World Series.
It'd be a really fun World Series. I'm looking forward to watching it. We're going to have to meet up, go get some drinks, watch some playoff baseball with no stress. No stress, no game post to make, no
lineup cards, no game post. It's just sitting back and enjoying baseball.
Some time to rest. Not too much time for us. We're gonna still hit the ground running going into the offseason starting today. Before we get into our game recaps, shout out to Total Sports Enterprises for sponsoring the podcast all year. Make sure you go to tscshop.com for all your Pittsburgh sports memorabilia needs. Pirates, Penguins, Steelers. There's been a lot of noise around the Penguins right now. Marc-Andre Fleury, all right, retired as a Pittsburgh Penguin. He got his return to Pittsburgh this week. Really cool to see. I'm sure you can get some memorabilia at tscshop.com for that. Go get your Steelers merch, all that, and more at tscshop.com. Go to the link below to let them know Bucko Banter sent you. And then shout out to Sports Card Junction for sponsoring the podcast this year and providing all of the boxes of cards that we gave away at all of the home games. The best card shop in Pittsburgh, hands down, 9011 Perry Highway. All of your hobby needs, they have you covered. Go to sportscardjunction.com or just go to the shop like Scott and I do to rip your cards. Have a great time and enjoy the hobby. Again, that's Sports Card Junction up in the North Hills. Scott, before we get into our last game recaps of the year, I think we should give our players of the year.
Yeah, let's do that. That'll be fun.
Let's get the obvious ones out of the way. Okay, pitcher is Paul Skeens. I'm not going to waste your time, and there's a lot of good on the pitching staff, but when you have a guy like Paul Skeens with a sub-2 ERA, 1.97 ERA, this is the greatest pitcher on planet Earth right now. And we've said that
6.5 total WAR this year.
Yeah, we've said this over and over and over again. We don't need to harp on it. Like, this is the guy. As long as he's on the team, he's probably going to be pitcher of the year. There might be some guys that give him a run for money next year. Bubba, potentially, but I don't see anyone coming close as long as he's a Pittsburgh Pirate. Paul Skeens is your Bucko Banter pitcher of the year. Scott, I'll give us one more. Your Gold Glover is Jared Triolo. Not many options for this. Okay, I think Tommy Pham played a solid left field for what it's worth.
Sure.
You can't really count on the rest of the outfield. Third base was Key Brian Hayes until he was gone. And you could have made an argument it probably just would have been him if he remained a Pirate. You had IKF, who was decent. You know, he was playing out of position for most of his time in Pittsburgh. Henry Davis was excellent behind the plate. It had to be Criollo. Just the value that he holds, being able to play shortstop, second base, first base, third base. You could throw him in a corner if you really need to. This is somebody who also, I think, is coming to his own when it comes to having a little bit more confidence at the plate. But the glove just plays, man. It really does. So he's going to be our Gold Glove Pirate of the year.
Yeah, and then I'll get us into hitter of the year is going to be Spencer Horwitz. Spencer Horwitz really finished the season strong here with a 270 batting average, I believe. Led the team in hitter WAR at 1.7, which is a little bit sad, but that was our highest WAR accumulator on the offense. 272, 353 OBP, and a 787 OPS. I think there's something more in the tank there. 11 homers, 51 RBIs. I was talking to Jim Rosati yesterday at the Pitt Louisville game. And, he mentioned, we talked about how much we both really like Spencer Horwitz and see him as part of this team, the team that's going to compete. And I think he could probably run into 15, 18 home runs as a 2-hole guy. So really liked what I saw from him, and I hopefully he can pick up right where he left off. I'm also going to go with our rookie of the year, Adam. There's a lot of options here on the pitching side. After some, diving into the stats and just like getting an overall vibe who I thought was the best rookie this year, I'm going to go with Braxton Ashcraft. Could have gone with Bubba. He got called up later, but Braxton had a really slept-on rookie campaign, and he was here for most of more than half of the year. 4-4 with a 2.71 ERA, 26 games. 8 of those were starts in 69 2/3 innings pitched. So ramping up those innings a little bit. 71 Ks and a 1.25 WHIP. On the WAR leaderboard, he was 6th overall on the team, at 1.6. Just under Carmen Wojcinski was number 4, by the way. Had 1.6 as well. He was tied. I guess they were tied for 4th, him and O'Neill Cruz. So, Braxton Ashcraft looked really, really good. I was impressed with him, and I think he's going to compete for a rotation spot heading into 2026.
Just to highlight Bubba real quick, since that Brewers outing where he had his little welcome to the MLB moment, 1.03 ERA.
No walks, too, I think.
Yeah, no walks. Yeah, you're right. 31 1/3 on the year, 31 Ks, 0.93 WHIP, 4.02 ERA as a whole, which is really inflated by that one outing where he gave up 7 or 8 runs. So all around, like you mentioned, ton of good options here. And then our comeback player of the year, I think, is fairly obvious. It's Johan Oviedo for everything that he's gone through, and didn't get off to a hot start immediately when he took the mound, but then he really just buckled down, man. Like every qualm you had of Johan, maybe when it came to control and limiting free passes, he really put his foot down, finished with a 3.57 ERA and 40 1/3 innings pitched, 42 Ks, a 1.21 WHIP. This rotation is going to be tough to crack.
Yeah. It's going to be a battle. That's going to be the biggest storyline going into spring training, obviously outside any additions they make, but it's going to be the battle for the 4th, 5th spot in the rotation because it's going to be tough to crack it. You can guarantee a spot for what? Skeens, Keller, Chandler, as long as they're here. Anyone else that you can guarantee a spot for? Burrows, Oviedo, Ashcraft. We're looking at all these names.
I'd say you could probably guarantee a spot for Jared Jones if he's healthy whenever he's back. They'd find a way for him to get in. So, and if that's the case, then you can't have enough arms. We've seen it every year. Guys get hurt; it's inevitable. But man, it's good to have Johan Oviedo back. And I think even if he doesn't crack the rotation, he could still play a role on this staff. Right? You can limit bullpen games for the most part, if you had these type of arms, and you can maybe put him in some high leverage innings, but really, really liked what I saw from Johan. That's our players of the year. I don't know. There's not many surprises there.
Who's your manager of the year?
Oh, man. My manager of the year is Derek. No, it's Real quick, 1 minute, 30 seconds, 20 seconds on Don Kelly. I think the vibe check was right with Don Kelly. He passes the eye test. The guys really like him. There was definitely a sense that he belongs, that he cares for his guys. And I think he has cemented himself as the manager moving forward. And I'm okay with that. I really enjoyed Don Kelly's time in half a year. And I think he did the most with the roster that he was given. And if they give him a little bit more, I'd like to see what he could do as a manager.
Me too. Me too. I think he's back, and I think the guys like him, and they bought in. And I'm excited for Donnie Kelly to hopefully return more than likely next year.
Absolutely. Let's get into our final game recaps on the season. Friday versus the Atlanta Braves. You had Mitch Keller on the mound. They won 9-3. This was the Spencer Horwitz game. The whole weekend was pretty much the Spencer Horwitz series. Keller in his last outing of the year, which could potentially be his last outing as a Pittsburgh Pirate. 3 2/3, 3 hits, 1 earned, 5 walks, 6 Ks, gave up 1 home run. He had finished with a 4.19 ERA. The bullpen consisted of Johan Ramirez, Mike Burrows had 2 innings, Isaac Matson, Kyle Nicholas, and Dennis Santana. Offense, Horwitz went 3 for 3 with 3 runs, 4 RBIs, 2 home runs. Tommy Pham hit his 10th home run on the year. Brian Reynolds finished the season strong with 2 hits. As a team, 7 Ks, 3 walks, 14 hits, 4 for 8 runners in scoring position, and 7 left on base.
Let's go to Saturday. Bubba Chandler got the start in a 3-1 win against the Braves. They clinched the series. He went 5 2/3, 4 hits, 1 earned, no walks, 6 Ks. Like we mentioned previously, 3 straight games without a walk. 4.02 ERA, 13 whiffs. Chase Shugart came in 1 1/3, no hits, 2 Ks. Justin Lawrence, 1 inning, no hits, 2 Ks. 0.51 ERA to end the season. Would love to see him back next year. Dennis Santana earned his 16th save of the season. 1 inning, 1 hit, 2 Ks. Finishes the season with a 2.18 ERA. Henry Davis went 1 for 4 with his 7th homer, 1 RBI. Nicky G 1 for 4 with a double, 1 RBI. Jack Swinsky went 2 for 3 with an RBI, his 7th stolen base. Jared Triolo 2 for 5 with his 13th stolen bag, 10 hits total, 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position, 10 left on base, and 7 Ks.
And then Sunday, game 162, they lost 4-1. Johan Oviedo went 5 innings, 3 hits, gave up 2 earned, 3 walks, 3 Ks. Hunter Barco went 2 innings, gave up 1 hit, had 3 Ks. His first strikeout of his major league career was against Ronald Acuna Jr. And then Johan Ramirez closed out the season with 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 1 K. Not much going on in offense here. Brian Reynolds hit his 38th double on the season as a team. 11 Ks, 3 walks, 6 hits, 1 for 3 runners in scoring position, 6 left on base. Joey Bart got caught stealing. Jared Triolo had a throwing error, which was his 8th on the year, and they turned 1 double play. And that wraps up the 2025 Pittsburgh Pirates, Scott.
Yeah, man, it's sad, man. Last game recaps. Shedding a tear right now internally, but sad to go out this way. But I think there are some positives, like we've said. I really want to take some time to just thank everyone that tuned in, all the relationships and friendships that we built at the ballpark this year, and even virtually online. Just everyone who has tuned in and showed their support. We really, really appreciate you. And the feedback that we get from you guys is what keeps us going and allows us to go to the ballpark and watch the 71 win team almost every day. We were at the ballpark 60 plus games this year. So really excited to provide you with some awesome content in the off season and get the ball rolling right away, man. The 2026 season starts right now.
Yeah, 100%. And I echo what you just said. Being able to establish those relationships, whether it be on Twitter, Instagram, or just at the park, or just going around Pittsburgh, man. Like there's been a lot of times this year where we've been walking around outside of a Pirates game and we're talking Pirates, or people that have tuned into Bucko Banter, have seen our content. It really is what keeps us going and wants us to keep just striving for more and to better ourselves. And I think when we started this 2 years ago now,
yep,
right, didn't expect any of that. Probably
It was
just
for fun.
expected it. Yeah, it was for fun. It was just, hey, we go to these games a lot. At that time, it was what, like 20 games a year?
Yeah, I mean, we
Maybe.
had season tickets, and we were like, you know what? I think we were pretty confident that we were going to be able to provide good insights, but I didn't know. We obviously couldn't predict all this, so
Yeah.
yeah.
And we both had a post the other day. Over 50 on-field interviews. I think the season was 124 podcasts, 11 live shows, over 5 million views and counting. Just unreal. The sponsorships, the camaraderie, the relationships that we've built. It was awesome, man. Even with all the downs in the season, it was still a blast to go out to PNC Park and interact with everybody. And I'm looking forward to a much, much better and improved 2026 and some exciting things on the way. Before we close it out, it's fall. It's officially fall. Go get your Bucko Banter hoodies, birthday gifts, early holiday gifts, whatever you want. If you're just feeling nice and you want to get somebody something, you can go to buckobanter.com, get all of your merch. I think in the next week, like we mentioned it last time, we're going to put out a code out there just as a thank you for the end of the season, 20% off. All right. We'll put it out on all social media when that happens. Go to YouTube, subscribe, like, leave a comment. That's great for the algorithm. It helps us keep growing. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We're going to have some awesome interviews this offseason. We're going to get into talks with those right away as soon as we get off of this recording. And then go to all social media, follow Bucko Banter, like, leave a comment, share, tell a friend to tell a friend.
To tell another friend.
And tell that friend to tell a friend. And then when you go to your Thanksgiving dinner, when they say what you're thankful for this year, you go, Bucko Banter. And they go, what's that? And then you tell them everything we've ever talked about. You show them the website. You make them buy a hoodie, right? You make them like all the content on the page. That's just how the world works. I want to say raise it, but there's going to be a minute before the Pirates win in another official ball game. There's going to be the Arizona Fall League, though, that we're going to cover.
Salt River Raptors, October 6th, first game.
Big Raptors fans. We're going to bring you content directly from Orlando when it comes to the winter meetings. There's going to be a lot of moves hopefully being made there, but no official Pirates games up until we get to Bradenton, and we'll be down there for an extended period of time this year. But I think we'll just stay consistent with it, right? We've ended every episode the same way. We're going to continue to do so, right? So until next time, raise it.
Raise it.
Best seats at the Pirates game, they let me run the base. Yeah, my time is like my money, cause I can't afford to waste. Wifey is a lawyer, take my date to my dates, or the steak by the plates. And